Hi, thanks again for joining me today. My name is Ann Crawford. I'm the Reference and Adult Services Librarian at the Ponte Vedra Beach Branch Library. And this is part 2 of brand new adult nonfiction titles in print and in downloadable ebook format, specifically focused around the holidays. If you joined me for part 1, then you know we dove into some titles that are going to help you celebrate the holidays in a really fun way. Maybe through pop culture that you enjoy, such as Outlander or Downton Abbey, or perhaps making some of your favorite treats, some of which may even tie into books, and all those sorts of things, ways that you can embrace Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever it is that you may celebrate. Now, part 2 today is going to continue along those lines, but we're going to deep dive a little bit into how to stay connected during the holidays, especially since COVID-19 is going to impact our holidays this year, how you can stay connected with your family, how you stay connected with your friends, how you can be both safe in terms of your health and your mental health, how you can take care of others, and all sorts of things like that. So the library is really great, not only for enjoyment, but it's also there for support. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today, because sometimes the holidays can be stressful. It can feel like you're just running around trying to complete some endless to-do list, which may or may not in reality measure up to a quality holiday. Do you need to do all the things you're running around and doing, or do you need to just slow down and take it all in? Those are some things that we'll talk about today. We'll also explore some titles that talk about self-care, about how hard it is sometimes to put yourself first and take care of yourself so that you can take care of others, so you can enjoy your children or your grandchildren, or spend time with your friends, or give back to the community or volunteer. You've got to take care of yourself first so that you have the strength and the ability to do those things that you really, really want to do. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about ways that you can safely stay connected, whether it is you're meeting in person or if you're meeting electronically, and also how to navigate some of those minefields that come up at holiday dinners, which hopefully you gather around with people either via Zoom or around a table and no one brings up a sticky topic. But chances are, if you spend enough time with people, eventually something comes up and you think, oh dear, how am I going to navigate that particular little minefield? We even have books on that. How you can navigate those sticky topics that are out there in the ether, and what you can do. And in some cases, when you start to get overloaded and you have heard too much and it's overwhelming you, it's depressing you, it's bringing you down, and it's time to turn off the TV, turn off your phone, turn off your tablet, shut down social media, or just simply take a break for your own mental health. So those are all the kinds of things that we'll be talking about today. In addition to the fun stuff that I mentioned before, are ways to support yourself through the holidays and the new year so that you really enjoy the holidays and you start the new year off on the best foot possible. So I thought I'd deep dive first into how are you going to connect with people during the holidays? Well, some of you will connect via Zoom. If it proves that it may be too risky to meet in person, or maybe you're not flying right now and you live on opposite sides of the country so you can't see one another, or any reason therein, and you want to connect with your family, you want to connect with your friends, then Zoom is a wonderful way to do it. It's a free app. You can download it to your phone or to your tablet or even to your laptop or desktop computer. You create a free Zoom account at zoom.us. It's actually a lot easier than it sounds like. And then, you can set up a Zoom call, and it's a great thing to do because not only can you hear everybody's voices, you can see everybody's faces. I'm just waiting until a patron comes into the library and tells me, me and my husband were sitting at our table and we had our laptop set up, and our grandkids were on it, and we all ate Christmas dinner together and opened gifts. I mean, just something fun like that. But especially if you're celebrating the holidays alone, it's a great way to still feel connected and see people and talk to people and try to feel like you're experiencing things in real time. Now, if you think to yourself, gosh, I'm just not sure I know how to do this. Well, on our website, we have a place where you can click on Ask a Librarian, and you can email or text a question to one of our St. Johns County Library staff. I run Ask a Librarian on Mondays, so if you text or email on Monday, you'll probably get me, and we'd be happy to walk you through how Zoom works. And once you get the hang of it, it really is easy. My mother would not mind me making this example of her, but she would be the first person to sit here and tell you her book club managed to figure out Zoom, and they've been having Zoom monthly book club meetings for the last several months. And she'd be the first one to tell you that if those ladies, including herself, can do it, anybody can. So Zoom for Dummies is great because it breaks it down into really manageable chapters and topics so that you can figure out all the little nuances of things that you want to do. And like I said, it's a great way to connect with people. You can also do Skype. You can also do WhatsApp, which is on Android. I think Skype is on Apple products. So there's all sorts of different things. Zoom has been really popular because it's so interactive. Because, WhatsApp, for example, is kind of a one-on-one thing. So you can WhatsApp one other person, and unless they've got a whole bunch of people with them, you're really just engaging with that person. In Zoom, you can put together all sorts of people. So if your family's scattered all over the country, not to worry. You can create a Zoom call, and all of you can be on the same screen at one time, chatting with each other and catching up with each other and seeing how everybody's doing over the holidays. So that's one way to enjoy your holidays this year. Is it the same? It's not. But one upshot is if you've ever been bummed out because so-and-so didn't get to come to your house, or you didn't get to go to their house for the holidays because maybe they had different plans, or they spent the holidays with the other side of their family that year, and they alternate. This is still a way you can catch up in the holidays and connect. Now, if you are celebrating the holidays and you're getting together and taking precautions, social distance, mask, and things like that, we have easy masks to sew. So if you're someone who can sew or enjoys sewing, then this is a book you can pick up from the library or check out via an ebook and find all sorts of little patterns that you can sew. So if your kids or grandkids need some cute masks to wear to school, because now my daughter's wearing them like accessories, like she has different masks for different outfits, and she considers what she's wearing and then which mask goes best with that. Thanks to my mom, who's been mailing her letters every week with a different little mask inside. So now she has a whole little collection of masks. Then that could be something fun that you could make for your kids or for your grandkids, so that when they go back to school after the winter holiday, then they have something, cute to wear on their face to go back to school and be safe. So easy masks to sew. You can see they've got kid patterns, they've got adult patterns in different sizes and different styles. So, if you are planning on meeting in person, then that may be something that you want to check out and give it a try. So, with regards to connecting with people, connection is great until it's not. And by that I mean, sometimes it's possible to be too connected. What do I mean? I mean when your TV runs in a nonstop loop on any one of the news channels. It can just feel like bombardment. It's overwhelming. It's just too much. It's sensory overload. Or maybe an even more recognizable instance would be you have Twitter, you have Facebook, you have any one of these social media sites, and you're constantly seeing other people's messages and things like that. It's a great way to keep in touch with friends and family. It can also be really stressful. So they wrote a book about it. Logged in and stressed out, how social media is affecting your mental health and what you can do about it. So they're not necessarily saying you have to quit all social media, because again, especially during these COVID-19 times, In many ways, that's a way we can keep in touch with each other when we can't see one another. But what are some things that you can do in your life to manage that experience so that it's a bonus for you, it's a perk for you rather than something that's constantly weighing you down and stressing you out? How can you shift that experience so that you're getting the things from it that you want and not getting the after effects, the feeling like, you're getting social media fatigue and people are fighting and saying things online they would never say to somebody's face. This is also important for kids and teens too, because some of the kids and teens are doing digital schooling right now, and so it kind of feels like they're living their entire life in front of a screen. And then on top of that, communicating with their friends. So this is something to consider, that kind of social media and life balance. So it's always good to maybe recalibrate over the holidays so you start the new year fresh and strong. Now, with respect to social media, this next book is not just about what can happen with social media and social media fatigue. Sometimes even being in person with people can be a little tricky. Now, we love getting together as a family. We love getting together with our friends. We do. We are social creatures by nature, so isolation is really tough. What can also be tough is when you're in at a holiday dinner, you're at a holiday party, or even if you're doing the Zoom call, it's all going well until somebody brings up a sticky topic. And by sticky topic, I mean something that's pretty divisive, something where everyone has a really strong opinion and feeling about it, and it can go sideways really quickly. And what do? How do you navigate that? How do you not let that escalate or upset you or potentially create a barrier between you and someone you love? And that's for the book called Mingling with the Enemy. Now, enemy is clearly tongue-in-cheek here, but it's a social survival guide for our divided era. So it's recognizing that, as we always have, but particularly now, there are just some things that are very heated topics, that have always been heated topics, but maybe particularly heated this year, that, for any number of reasons, pops up in conversation, and then what do you do next? How do you navigate that? How do you do it in such a way that you don't feel like you get railroaded or compromise your beliefs, but at the same time, you don't railroad somebody else or potentially hurt a relationship you really care about, whether it's a romantic relationship, it's a friendship, it's a family relationship. So this is a really timely book, because we've all been in those instances where things are just clipping along really well, something comes up, and suddenly everybody's hackles go up. And how do you neutralize that and find your way back to the love that's at the center and the holidays? So even though it says the enemy, they're not your enemy. It just may be that that's a topic that takes a little bit more finesse, and this book has some really solid tips for navigating these conversations. It's not saying that you're not going to have these conversations. Either you're having them online, or you're having them in person, or maybe both. It's going to help you navigate those conversations, which is really important, because we love our family and we love our friends, and we want those relationships to thrive and to continue. Now, I've mentioned before that sometimes the holidays can be really stressful. Now, I love the holidays, and one of my favorite parts of the holidays, just so you know, Charlie Brown Christmas. So imagine my delight when I found out it's going to air on public TV again. I cannot wait. I'm marking my calendar. Lucy, my daughter, and I curl up on the couch in our favorite Charlie Brown peanuts blankets and sip some hot cocoa and watch a Charlie Brown Christmas. Everyone has their traditions and things that make them feel particularly cozy and at home. So I love the title of this book, called Calm Christmas and a Happy New Year, a little book of festive joy. And sometimes I feel like I never quite get to this place until after Christmas. It's like that week after Christmas is the sweet spot, because finally, all the commercials, all the hype, all the ramping up, all the intensity finally kind of gives way, and you can finally sit back and really enjoy the holidays. And a great thing about a book like this is it's saying, don't wait until the day after Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa. Do it now. Enjoy it in the month of December. Don't wait until the end of December to finally put your feet up and enjoy the holidays and embrace the people and things that you have in your life that matter most. And it's saying, you know, starting with a happy new year. And again, sometimes New Year's can feel kind of anxiety producing because you got to come up with these resolutions. And what are you going to do? What are you going to resolve the change? And the changes feel big and overwhelming. It's like, whoa. So it's telling you about slowing down, taking a deep breath, putting things in perspective, and just enjoying the holidays for what they are and for what they're meant to be, however that works for you and your family. So I think that's a really good message, especially this year, to impart, is to not get so stressed out and so anxious and so overwhelmed that you miss out on it, because you deserve to enjoy it. So for a little humor for you, because we librarians are known for our humor, believe it or not, I thought I'd show you a way that you can make your new year better. Now, who here is watching me and feels like I do? You get a beautiful Christmas tree from the Christmas tree lot. Your whole house smells like pine. It's heavenly. The only thing I regret, besides trying to get the tree through the door and my husband and I not poking ourselves in the eye with the pine needles, besides that, the toughest thing for me is January, when I finally have to give that tree up and the tree has to go to the street. What a downer that is. That poor little tree out at the street. It's brought many joys for many days, and finally we have to let it go. So believe it or not, we have found a way to not only be more environmentally friendly by reading this book, but also find ways to repurpose that tree so it doesn't sit lonely out there. So if you read this book, you may also come up with some ideas how to eat your Christmas tree. I'm not kidding. How to eat your Christmas tree. There are parts of your Christmas tree that actually parlay into food and drinks that you can consume, so that really you're not just throwing away a tree, you're actually repurposing it. So you're being environmentally friendly, and you're doing something fun with it. If you've got kids and grandkids, or even it's just you, something new and different. Now in our county, which is really great, in the past we've had where you can take your tree and you can get it made into mulch, and that to be repurposed at the parks. So that's a really great thing too, much better than a poor lonely tree laying out at the end of your driveway. But I just thought this was just too cute not to share. How to eat your Christmas tree. So basically, you know, how can you be green during Christmas, and also maybe come up with some really tasty food and drinks as a result. So something to check out if you get a live tree. Somehow, I don't think this book is gonna work if you have an artificial tree. I wouldn't recommend. I think it has to be a live tree. So, how to eat your Christmas tree. Just a little library humor for you. Now, on to a little bit more of a serious topic. This Christmas season, or Hanukkah season, or Kwanzaa season, holiday season, may be a challenging one for you, not just because of COVID, but it may be the first holiday season you've spent without your spouse, and that's really tough. It may be that you and your spouse are in older age and you lost them to a disease, or just to advanced age or something like that. Or it could be that it's a younger spouse and they were in the military, they were killed in action, or you lost them to something else, a car accident, or even a disease at that age. Whether you're a widow who's young or old, male or female, that can be really tough, especially that first holiday season afterwards. So fortunately, the library has books to support you during that time. We've got I Carry Your Heart in Mind, and this is Creating a Meaningful Life After the Death of a Spouse. So if you're someone who's been married for a long time, you're someone who may have lost a spouse to older age, you're an older person yourself, this would be a really great book for you to read because it's going to give you some practical examples of some things you can do to still honor the memory of that beloved spouse, but also find ways to still keep moving your life forward. And that's a tricky thing to do during the holiday season because, of course, when you think about the holidays, you think about family, you think about friends, you think about loved ones. And that's one of the many things that I love about the library is that we have some really supportive books out there that can help you through some difficult times. So if this book is resonating with you right now, I really recommend that you consider checking it out and seeing what sorts of practical things that you can do, but also to read up a little bit about your feelings. Get some reassurances that it's normal to feel the way that you do, that the holidays are a tricky time, but there are some things that you can do for yourself to make it a little easier. And like I said, still honor the love that you have for that spouse. So this book is geared, like I said, to someone who may be older and has lost a spouse. But sometimes you lose a spouse in a much younger age. And we have the Widow's Survival Guide, Living with Children After the Death of Your Spouse. So this is more aimed at, say, maybe the middle-aged person who had children and the spouse, the husband or the wife has passed away, and how do you process that when it's not just you, it's you and your children. And again, the holidays could be a tricky time because, of course, the holidays is when we all expect to get together. Certainly, the death of a mom or dad or spouse, very challenging. Certainly with COVID-19, not being able to fly, maybe not being able to see people in person, also challenging. So these books are really great in that they support the sorts of stages and feelings you may be having and giving you some ideas of what are some proactive things you can do for yourself. So again, that's one of the things I love about the libraries. There's fun things, there's educational things, and then there's also supportive things that can help you get through a tougher period. And one of the things I've learned about working in libraries for 17 years is the common misconception that people think that the most important thing a person working in a library must possess is a love of books. Now, obviously, a love of books does not hurt, and many of us do love books. And that is part of what attracted us to the library. But I think even more important than a love of books, I think someone who works in the library, the really key quality that you need that's going to make you successful, make you enjoy your job, make the patrons look forward to seeing you the next time they visit the library, is a true love of people and wanting to help them. So we're really pleased and glad that we have these kinds of books on the shelf. If they give you any sort of comfort and support. Or if you know somebody who's going through these experiences, you can also read these books to get some ideas that you could share with that person. Maybe if it's still too raw for them to read themselves, you can share some ideas and some support so you can better understand what they're grappling with and help them through that period. So I wanted to make sure I touched on that for sure. And to kind of circle back a little bit, always make sure that you're indulging in some self-care, whether you're someone for whom the holidays may be more difficult this year, or you're somebody who perhaps is a caretaker for someone who has Alzheimer's disease, or you're someone you know is going to have a lot on your plate, and so you need to be completely present to be a part of everything. You need to take care of yourself first. So what better book than The Complete Guide to Self-Care? So all the sorts of things that you can do to slow down and take care of yourself. Things about taking a hot bath, getting some exercise, reading a good book, practicing meditation and breathing, just all sorts of things that might seem obvious, and then some things that may not seem as obvious that are going to help you process everything that's going on. And so it's a brand new book that we've got in the library, and it's all about best practices for a healthier and happier you. And who doesn't want to be healthier and happier during the holiday season and New Year's and all year round? So self-care is not something that is just important at the holidays. I think it's especially important in the holiday season when we tend to neglect ourselves. But it's really important all year round, especially if you're anticipating giving of yourself to your children, to your grandchildren, you're a caregiver for your mom or your dad or another elderly relative. You want to do all those things and really do them. You need to take care of yourself first. And it may seem at first like overindulgent. It's not overindulgent. It's just taking care of you. And in case you're thinking, well, I don't know, still seems kind of overindulgent. Doesn't have to be. It can be fun. Like, hello, gorgeous, 75 fabulous do-it-yourself facials at home. That's right. While you're shopping on Amazon for holiday gifts, or while you're watching your favorite Hallmark movie, or your kids are watching Charlie Brown Christmas, or you're waiting for cookies to bake up in the oven, go ahead and make yourself some nice homemade facial. Get that all over your face and just relax. If you want to put the cucumbers on your eyes, go for it. Put the cucumbers on your eyes. Enjoy, and have fun with it. And again, the nice thing about facials is that you don't have to have a house full of people to make your own facials. If you're celebrating the holidays on your own, or you can't travel, so you're not going to be able to see your family face to face, this could be a great way to get some natural ingredients and some wonderful aromatic smells. Get them on your skin, take care of your skin, and hydrate your skin, and just relax, zen out, put your feet up, especially if you're working during the holidays, or money is tight and that's putting a strain on you. Take a moment to just detox and relax and recenter yourself, recalibrate, and get back to the place about what the holidays are supposed to be all about. Another fun thing with this is that if you're like me, you have a daughter, or if you have a granddaughter or something like that, how fun would mommy and me facials be, or grandma and me facials, or in my instance, I love my daughter, I also love my mom, so it could be grandma, mommy, and daughter facials, just all sorts of fun things. So some great books about just unwinding, taking your time. And just so no one feels left out, there is nothing wrong with a man or a boy having a facial. They've got skin too, and they deserve to relax. Now, I would encourage maybe not posting the picture of them with the cucumbers on their eyes on social media. You might feel a little self-conscious. But everybody, whether you're a man, a woman, old or young, deserves to take care of yourselves and enjoy the holidays in a relaxing and physically and mentally healthy way. Now, much like the widow books I talked about, sometimes, especially with COVID-19 this year, there have been some breakups. And I don't just mean boyfriend and girlfriend breakups, not to minimize that. I don't just mean fiancé breakups. I'm talking about breakups of marriages too. Maybe some marriages that went on for a long time. And much like the death of a spouse, it's in a way the death of what you thought your life was going to be. So breakups are tough no matter what time of year it is, but they can be a little harder during the holidays. So we have Breakup Boot Camp, the science of rewiring your heart. So how are you going to kind of reinvent what your life is going to be like? And, how are you going to move forward? And what are you going to do next? Now, this book has a little bit of humor to it. We have, more serious titles. We have more lighthearted titles. This happens to be one of our newer titles. So, again, the library ends up being a wonderful resource for supporting whatever situation you may be finding yourself in. There's always just about always a resource at the library that you could use to support yourself, give yourself ideas, or maybe just give yourself a break. So, an important book to have. And along with having a broken heart, sometimes it isn't so much that you're struggling, it may be that someone you love is struggling, a family member, a friend, a coworker, someone you know that has mental health issues, or somebody maybe that you're starting to suspect has mental health issues. Because of course, sometimes mental health doesn't present nearly as serious as it is on the inside. So sometimes you know, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just have to go with your gut. And this book, which is brand new from John Hopkins, is Helping Others with Depression, Words to Say, Things to Do. If you've never struggled with depression before, and prior to 2016, I hadn't personally. I knew a lot of friends and family members that had depression, and I certainly sympathized with them, and I certainly tried to be there in whatever way I could, although, like the book implies, I didn't always know what to say or what to do. But it wasn't until I was diagnosed with depression in 2016 that finally I could empathize. I got it because I experienced it firsthand. And it's tough, and it's tricky. And the holidays can bring it on. You know, the holidays are full of wonderful joys, wonderful smells, foods, music, movies, books, experiences, family, love. I mean, I'm leaving out a million things. The holidays are an incredible time. The holidays can also be an incredibly overwhelming time. And if someone you know and love struggles with depression, struggles with mental health, that's a time that can be that much more overwhelming. So what a wonderful practical resource to give you ideas of what you can say, what you can do to support someone with depression or that you suspect may be depressed. So if you know anyone in your life that you love dearly or you care about, that you think either may be struggling with depression or that you know has a mental health background with depression, this is a wonderful book to pick up to find the better things to say and the things to do, particularly if you're someone who hasn't struggled with depression yourself. So, you know, what an invaluable resource to have, not just at the holidays, but any time, to support somebody in your life who may need an extra boost. So that is all of my titles for today. You have hopefully watched part 1, and this was part 2 of brand new nonfiction titles that we have in the library, specifically geared toward ways to enjoy the holiday season, but also ways to take care of yourself and others during the holiday season. In the first part, I mentioned all the ways that you can give back. You can look around your house and look through your books and movies and magazines and clothes and all sorts of things and donate to those folks in need. There's the JCP Cares trees that are at our libraries that allow you to purchase a gift for someone who has wished for something for Christmas who may not have something under their tree. There's any number of things that you can do. It can be as simple as just checking on one of your neighbors in your neighborhood that you know might be a little lonely this year. They might not be able to travel, or their families may not be able to come to them. So just a knock on the door and just saying hello, or sending some holiday cards out so people get some real mail instead of just bills and junk mail. Just the little things that you can do, even like the artwork that your children or grandchildren can make to brighten somebody's day. What a boost. So I hope this gave you some ideas about how to better enjoy the holidays for yourself and with your loved ones and with your friends. And I wish you the happiest of holidays. We look forward to seeing you at the library. We hope you check out these books, and take care and be well.